After her husband passed away, a woman remarried with her 3-year-old son. She and the child moved into her new husband's home. This man was very wealthy and highly respected. At first, he did not mind the boy living in the house, and he would even occasionally smile at him. But 1 year later, everything changed. The woman gave birth to a son for her new husband. The man was immersed in joy and pride. But from that moment on, his attitude toward the older boy slowly began to change. He no longer played with that child, nor did he care about his needs anymore. Gradually, the boy who was not related to him by blood became unnecessary in this mansion, and even became annoying to him. The warmth that had once briefly existed also disappeared little by little. One afternoon, the man returned home with a smile, pushing a brand new bicycle in his hands. It was a gift for his biological son. The younger son was so happy that his eyes shone. He jumped and laughed around the bicycle, while the older boy just stood quietly in the corner watching, his eyes filled with envy, sadness, and longing. When the mother saw this scene, her heart hurt as if it had been pierced by a needle. She said softly to her husband,
"Can you buy another one? That way the two brothers can ride together."
The smile on the man's face disappeared instantly. He said,
"I have no obligation to take care of that child. He is not my son. If you speak for him again, I will throw him out."
The woman froze. Her heart was full of pain and fear. In order not to let her son suffer greater harm, she could only swallow all her grievances and choose to remain silent. From then on, the favoritism became more and more obvious. Whatever the younger son wanted, he could get, but the older boy had nothing. Later, the man sent his biological son to an expensive private school. The mother could not help asking,
"What about him? He should go to school too."
The man answered,
"He is not going. He does not have my surname, and he is not my child."
The mother's tears immediately poured out. In pain and anger, she said,
"Education is not something only biological children deserve."
The man flew into a rage and,
"Enough. I have had enough. I don't want to see him stay in this house anymore."
When the boy heard these words, he trembled all over with fear. He ran to his mother's side, wiped the tears from her face with his small hands, and said with a,
"Mom, don't cry for me anymore. In this world, he is not worth your tears. In order not to let you be humiliated anymore, I will leave."
After saying this, he packed the few clothes he owned into a small cloth bag. Before leaving, he looked back at his mother one last time, and said,
"Mom, don't cry."
Then he turned around and left, gently closing the door behind him. At that moment, the mother's heart felt as if it were being burned by fire. Countless questions rushed into her broken heart. Where would he go? Where would he sleep at night? Would he go hungry? Who would protect him? She knelt on the ground, raised both hands toward the sky, and, as she prayed,
"Oh heaven, I entrust my poor son to you. Please take care of him, protect him, and let him return safely to my side."
10 years later, that mansion, which had once been full of glory, had long lost its laughter. The wealthy man had grown old, his business had failed, his fortune had disappeared, and the friends who once surrounded him had left him one by one. And the biological son he had spoiled since childhood had become arrogant, selfish, and useless because of being overindulged. On a cold winter night, the woman suddenly fell ill, and her illness was very serious. But the man no longer had money to hire a good doctor, and no one was willing to help them. He lowered his head and sat in the dim living room, truly understanding helplessness for the first time. Just then, a black car slowly stopped in front of the mansion. The car door opened, and a tall, upright young man stepped out. He was neatly dressed, his gaze was steady, and his manner was calm. The moment he walked into the house, the woman lying on the sickbed froze. That face was one she would never forget in her lifetime. Her hands began to tremble, tears instantly filled her eyes, and she called out in a,
"My son."
The young man quickly walked to the bedside, knelt in front of his mother, tightly held her hand, kissed it gently, and said,
"Mom, I'm back."
The woman could no longer control herself and cried like a child. Again and again she touched her son's face, as if she were afraid that all of this was only a dream, afraid that he would disappear from before her eyes once more. She choked with sobs and asked,
Where have you been all these years? How did you survive?
The young man smiled gently and said,
Mom, heaven protected me, just like you prayed back then.
He told his mother that after he left home that year, he wandered the streets for a long time. Later, a kind old teacher took him in. From then on, he worked during the day and studied at night. When others were resting, he was studying. When others were playing, he was working hard. Those days of being neglected did not defeat him. And those tears he had shed were not shed in vain. Every pain became the strength that pushed him forward. Every lonely night made him even more determined to live with dignity. Now, he had become a doctor, respected by others, and had the ability to help more people. And the first patient he wanted to save after returning was his mother. The man who had once driven him away stood in the corner, lowering his head and unable to say a single word. He was so ashamed that he did not dare to look at this young man, because the child he had once despised and driven out of the house had now become the man who saved this family. The young man looked at him and said calmly,
I came back not for revenge. I came back only for my mother.
After saying this, he turned around, held his mother's hand tightly, and said softly,
Mom, back then, you entrusted me to heaven. Today, heaven has brought me back to your side.
The mother closed her eyes, and tears slid down her cheeks. But this time, they were no longer tears of pain, but tears of gratitude. All my stories come from this set of books. The stories are simple and rich in educational value, making them very suitable for English beginners. They will surely make you more interested in learning English.